Hello, and welcome to my Sound Advanced Topics 2 seminar. Hi, it's me, Brad. This is week 11 of spring 2020. And as we discussed in class last time, you're interested in seeing how to use some controllers, so I'm going to talk about that today. It's too bad. It's better if we can do it with hands-on, but unfortunately, because of coronavirus, we can't. But this will be useful information to you, I think, at some point. The other thing is that I talked about not making the videos quite so long. So I'm going to do about 6 or 7 short videos covering different aspects of this. And the final one will be showing you how to build a finished app because you were interested in seeing that too. Okay, so let's get started with this. I'm going to bring up a Unity project that I've kind of pre-made here. Very simple. It's got a blue square on a plane. If I play it, you can't see me doing this, but I'm just moving my arrow keys left and right, forward and back, and it's moving the cube around. How does that happen? Well, it's really simple, all right? We're simply using our key codes. We're getting the up arrow, the down arrow, right or left, and we're adding the appropriate amount in the Z dimension or the X dimension, which will move the square around, left or right, multiplying it by speed, which is a public variable that we've declared. Look at it out here. Got speed set to 3, and that makes it go. Now, we can replace all those. The problem is if you're using key codes and you want to have more than one kind of control, you're going to have to put in all kinds of weird logic, like if this, if that, things like that. We can replace all of this with this code here. Grab that, put it up here. Boom. And it's a lot simpler, for one thing. And it does some other stuff for us. Basically, we've replaced the left and right arrows with this get axis horizontal and the sort of up and down arrows with this get axis vertical. And we're then putting in those values from those axes, multiplying it by the speed, and it's doing the same thing. And I'll show you. Let's get it to go here. It's got to compile. Start up. Here we go. And again, we're moving. Okay. So I'm just moving the plus, the left and the right arrow on the up and down arrow. But here's what the magic is. Gamers like to use the WASD keys to play. And look, they also move it without having to say get key code WASD or anything like that. But here's where the real magic comes in. Okay, I'm going to bring up a little monitor here and show you. I have an Xbox One controller mapped to this, and if I move this joystick, I'm actually able to move the square around too. Okay, it's this one on the Xbox, that guy right there, which is the one the gamers like to use to move things. Well, how did that magic happen? I'm going to show you. All right. If we go into our project settings and we look at the input project settings, this is where that's happening. Now I'm going to do something else here just to show you. We're going to be looking at this a fair amount, so I'm actually going to dock it up here so I can just click on it that way. Now, notice that this says axes, and look, there's horizontal and vertical, and I was getting axis horizontal, getting axis vertical. Well, let's take a look at what's in here. Oh, all kinds of stuff. First of all, the name we referred to and the buttons that we press to get it to fire. The left arrow and the right arrow, or the A key and the D key. That's how we did it. Now this other stuff, gravity and sensitivity, you can look at videos for them. That has to do with the responsiveness of it. Frankly, it doesn't really do that much. One exception we're going to get to towards the end of the class. Okay, and the other thing, that this is set to key or mouse button. Okay, that's going to be important because that's how we kind of activate these guys up here. And notice we have the same thing for the vertical. Okay, up and down arrow. S key and W key moves us. What's missing is the Xbox joystick controller. Well, look, there's another horizontal and vertical labeled down here. I couldn't quite figure out how to get them to move up here, but that's not that big a deal. There's a bunch of them we're not using. We're going to talk about them later. If I click on the horizontal here, it says horizontal, and look, it doesn't have any of those buttons pushed, but it's also changed from key or mouse button to a joystick axis. And it's going to get information from the x-axis. And we're saying get motion from all joysticks. Now, once you set this to joystick axis, it looks for those. If that's not set, okay, I could set these to anything, and it's not going to matter because it's looking for a key or a mouse button from that particular entry. But down here, okay, with this, we can set which axis the joystick is looking at, okay? And the x-axis is the one that we're getting the information from for the horizontal movement, left and right. If we look at the vertical, you'll see we're getting that from the y-axis of the joystick, okay? And I'm going to talk a bit more about these axes, but I'm going to do that in the next video. Like I said, I'm going to keep these kind of short, so I'm going to shut this one down, and then we'll talk about adding an axis, maybe one for rotation of the square. Okay?